Like its beautiful PlayStation 2 predecessors Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, The Last Guardian is set to be an artistic landmark when it's finally released at the end of the year. We were lucky enough to visit Team Ico Studio in Tokyo, where we spoke to Chief Creative Director Fumito Ueda about the power of PlayStation 3, the connection between his games, and, to begin with, why his titles go for such a distinctive minimalist look.
I quite like this kind of game, but I also feel this is the right approach to reach people who are not necessarily familiar with video games. I believe that games in which you have tons of items, in which you customise your character in many ways, or in which stats have to be managed constantly, are not really accessible to people who don't play much. That's why I prefer this kind of simple experience. Now, from the creative perspective, a simple experience allows me to really focus on the few elements that are going to be essential to the game. I can spend all the time I want to make sure they're exactly how I want them. I'm not so sure my games are so different. Each time it's about a constant communication between the player and an NPC character as the scenario is unfolding. The first game was about leading and protecting a female character, while the second was about fighting. This time it's all about cooperation, so the form varies from one title to the next, but the theme remains the same.
The Last Guardian is the first time Ueda and the team have worked on PlayStation 3. So, is the machine powerful enough to realise their ideas?
PlayStation 3 is a great platform and it has a lot to offer. I believe that Shadow of the Colossus is benefiting a lot from the 3D, as you can really enjoy the colossal size and shapes of the bosses. I also think that you can get a better understanding of the features on their body. I think it's the same with Ico, but on a different level. But it's not really a question of machine power, it's more how you get the emotions out of a virtual character. All of my games feature a wall. In the first it was about language, while the second was more about the thinking. This time it goes beyond that with a creature that can't speak and has its own behaviour. So they're about situations. I'd like to come to a point where I can really communicate with a character through words in a really natural manner. It's not a real goal, but I want to create a character which is as perfect as possible, and I mean as natural as possible. I would like users to feel that they're really alive. In that sense, it's not really about refining a concept or exploring every bit of its potential. I'm just trying to make the perfect living character.
Speaking of the creature, his name is Trico by the way, he looks like nothing else we've ever seen, except maybe Falcor the Luck Dragon from the Neverending Story. How did his physical appearance develop?
We tried many different models. We settled on the one you'll now recognise after making various comparisons and evaluations. It looks cute in some cases, threatening in others. It feels strange as well and is capable of making some acrobatic actions. Each part it's made up of brings some different abilities, and this acrobatic capacity comes from its feline DNA.
Ico and Colossus are two of our favourite games, but the sales have never quite measured up to the critical praise. So, does Ueda ever get frustrated that his games aren't more successful?
I think that the problem is different. I believe the issue is with the product. The fact that Ico and Shadow of the Colossus did not sell well is because they were not good enough. They did not have enough appeal to a wide variety of users. The Last Guardian wants to learn from this, and I'm making a game so it is appealing with the hope that many people will give it a try and love it. If users play the game twice, I think that is quite sufficient. This is a very personal opinion, of course, and I don't think there is much more beyond a second run. The game is about an emotional experience, and I think that that's enough.
Thanks, Ueda-san! We'll have more on The Last Guardian as soon as we can. For now though, here's a bit more Tokyo. Wouldn't want this footage to go to waste.